the exercise really, really easy? Awesome, no one. That's the correct answer. Who's going to go away from today, find out what those numbers are so they can actually work with it from? Hold them up. Hold them up.
You're not going to deny.
And so anyone else, the last couple just don't care. So right, wave your hand in the air like you just don't care. Right, okay. So that's a really important thing. As was pointed out before, there are some terms in there that I share with my clients that they may not necessarily understand. Again, I'm sorry, I just don't have time to go through everything. I didn't have the paper to organise it. Quite a bit of it will actually be in the other video that you get sent today. That's part of our gift to you. Because as much as we take notes, we're going to take notes and we're going to forget a lot of stuff, correct? Cool. You will understand that when you watch the video, it's a slightly younger, slimmer me that I shot in 2011 in a studio, pretending that the camera crew was my audience. This has a truth don't change. True?
True.
If I borrow your attention for a second. This is what's called a truism. If I drop these keys, they're going to do what?
Break.
Why? I'll break it or board it. Not the car, just the key. Right? It's called gravity. Gravity hasn't changed in a while, has it? It's truism. Same deal. Same deal. Some of the strategies might have improved. In fact, over the last almost 5 years, yes. There's a whole heap more strategies. When we run our guerrilla marketing alone, I teach my clients a little over 350 low and no cost marketing strategies. Who even thought there was that many? But they're there. It's the idea of Kaizen, constant and never-ending improvement. So that's what we talked about before. I mentioned Warren Buffett, one of the richest men in the world. He said it's not necessary to do extraordinary things to get extraordinary results. I interpret that to say small things done consistently produces a bigger outcome. TM John Millar. Right? Same deal, same way. But it's true. Little things done what? Consistently. What if I do, who here's read Anthony Robbins' book, Awaken the Giant Within? Yeah? What's one of the most important things he talks about in there when he talks about change? He talks about making massive change. He doesn't talk about making a little change to get massive results, or an occasional change to get massive results. If you want big outcomes, you've got to do what? Big change. Right. Some of these things we've already talked about that, so we'll skip over that. Plus, I'm really gagging to see Ajax talk. Who else is really looking forward to seeing Ajax talk about low and no cost strategies? Me too. Me too, but you can wait a few minutes, right? Good. Right. If we look at these things, we need to put in place systems. What do systems do? They give us consistency. Systems, I love that statement. Systems save you time, energy, and money. Saving yourself time, energy, and money. Who would like to open up a packet of Tim Tams? Not that I do that anymore. And to find that some Tim Tams are bigger than others? No. Taste different to others? No. Why do you open up a packet of Tim Tams that are all exactly the same? Systems. You've got to have systems inside your business. If you don't have systems, when you have problems, what happens? You're doomed to repeat them again and again and again. And remember Einstein. We all agree Einstein's a pretty clever guy? Yeah? He was the one who said definition of insanity is continuing to do the same thing time and time again and expecting a different result. How often do we do that inside our business? Too often. Without systems. There's areas that you can actually leverage. And I don't have time to go into all the details, but we've got delivery people and education. Without people working well inside your business, you're in all sorts of strife, and I'm going to cover some of those things today in the next 22 minutes. Delivery and distribution of what you're doing, how you go about testing and measuring what you're doing in your business, and the systems and the technology that you use that support those things. Systems are there to support people, not the other way around. But you need to have systems. Okay? We all good with that? Cool. Here's a little quote for you. I can't remember who threw it out, but I loved it. It's systemised like a corporate, humanised like a small business. Systemised like a corporate, humanised like a small business. There's a reason why corporates make billions of dollars. Billions. Can you even conceive that number in your bank account? Billions. I dream about it, but I really can't conceive it. Right. Richard Branson, lovely guy. We would all suggest he's reasonably successful. Owns his own freaking island. This is not bad, not a bad measure of success from that sort of part of his life. But he talks about this. Too many of us start to run away with one business, we move on to a second, a third, a fourth, and a fifth before we've learned how to run the first one properly. But if you learn how to run the first one properly, what happens? The principles are exactly the same in any business that you're in. If you're already in the situation where you've got multiple businesses that are spinning out of chaos, don't ever talk to me, because we've got to look at some of these principles that you need to fix. Who here's got a team? And you can say franchisees, better go on, they're part of your team. Good. This was a quote that I found particularly apt, that in most cases, we've heard it said that most employees are motivated, enthusiastic, positive individuals, except for the 8 or so hours that they actually work for you. Right. Oh, sorry, I forgot about loyal. Right, I said most, but not all. Right. There's a whole host of different things that we need to do to look differently at the way that we recruit people. People are people, they have emotions. Here's some statistics that came out of Harvard Business School. If you just follow a standard interviewing process, whether it's one of the ones I show my clients or not, doesn't really matter. If you just do interviews, on average, you're going to get an average sort of result. If you do some really heavy reference checking, it'll get a lot better. And if you do some psychometric testing, benchmarking and evaluation of those people, the results, as a percentage, go through the roof. Now the bad news is you're still going to get 12% of it wrong. But I don't know about you, but I'd rather get 12% of it wrong than 43% of it wrong. Am I right or wrong?
Right.
I'm right. Excellent. That could have gone disastrously wrong. Right. Here's some things that have to happen within a team. And as a business owner, it's really tough because as a team member who's learning how to do things when we've got a job, oftentimes we're not thrust into management or leadership roles. Are we? No. And it's really hard. Some people find it really hard to be honest with other people. Right? Now, I believe that it's more important to be honest than nice, because if I'm being nice, then I just don't care enough about you to be honest. Does that necessarily mean that what's being said is always being appreciated? No. And sometimes, as someone who suffers from foot and mouth disease regularly, you may not necessarily express it in the way that it should have been expressed. True or true? True. But here's 6 things that we go through anyway, that are areas that you must have to actually have a successful team. And we've heard this before, we've got to have the right people on the right bus. I believe we're going to have the right people on the right bus, sitting in the right seat, not beating the hell out of each other, which is a good start. The only way to do that is to understand them as people. We're all emotional creatures. True or true? True. Who here is a clinical psychologist, psychiatrist? I reckon there's at least 1 or 2 in the room. No? Me either. But I am trained in DISC. And it's actually understand, we cover this in our Sales Made Simple and in our, actually on Friday the 11th next week. We're covering emotional intelligence in the workplace in our Business Essentials series, where we talk about how do you go about identifying the right people on the bus. Right? I call it the duck and the turkey principle. If it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, you've got to assume it's a duck, right? But how many times do you hire a duck and you end up with a turkey? Same deal. The only way is to really get in and understand who they are as people. Because people buy from people. People buy from people that I want to be here and I want to share in your vision as within the business. I want to bust my hump to achieve everything you want to achieve because I want to be a productive member of the team. Anybody love people like that? Yeah, so how about we try and find some? That comes down to this whole concept that came from a guy called Dr. William Moulton Marsden. He came up with a thing called a DISC profile. And they're the 4 basic areas. Again, this is like a 2.5-hour session just on this. But it just goes to show you that you need to understand, am I dealing with someone who's an introvert or an extrovert? Am I dealing with someone who's people-focused or task-focused? Because how often do we ask people, the right people, to do the wrong job? Okay? So in a small business, it's really tough because oftentimes we're going to get people who do multiple jobs within the business, right? So if I've got someone who's in my office doing accounts payable, what do I want? an extroverted people person, woohoo, party person, or do I want an introverted, task-focused person with attention to detail? I want the introverted, task-focused person because they don't stuff up the numbers. Yeah?
Yeah.
Then in a small business, what do we ask them to do? Hey, look, we're really busy at the moment, so what I need you to do is I need you to answer the phone. And who do we want to answer the phone? An introverted, task-focused person or an extroverted people person? Right. So sometimes we ask the right people to do the wrong jobs. We as leaders have to accept responsibility for that. And make sure that we understand that it's okay not to be okay sometimes. Because we're just asking the right person to do the wrong job. We don't have time to cover that. Well, I want you to go away and talk about it. I talked about this before. Procrastinate, one of my favourite sayings, and I do actually have it trademarked, is procrastination is a wealth hazard. Right? Procrastination is a wealth hazard. Why not just get done today what you were going to put off till tomorrow? Why not just get stuck in and do it? Why do we procrastinate? Yes, thank you. It's usually something that's really important, but we just didn't like doing it. Right? Now we can take two approaches at that. I can either learn to love it, or I can say, suck it up, princess, and just do it. Either way, just do it. Nike had it right. Or Nike, depending on what school of vernacular that you come from. But that's a major problem. Most people put stuff off and they wonder why they haven't had any real changes. They haven't got any real outcome changes. If you're going to make massive change inside your business, you've got to start doing some massive changes. You've got to have some massive changes to get those outcomes. Because you know those little 10%ers? You're going to have to stop doing some of the things you've always done. You're going to have to start doing the stuff that you've been putting off. You know that you would, could, should, might do, but you haven't done. True? Come on, don't be shy. True or true?
True.
Right. Then the question that I like is, and Jim Rowan unfortunately died 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago to the day. If you get a chance to look up any of his books, absolutely fantastic. Or James Rowan, who's also known as. He said this: never wish your life was easier, wish that you were better. Work harder on yourself than you do on your job. And what's job stand for? Just over broke. So work harder on yourself. Being here is a really good step. Walking out of here and doing nothing is not much of a step at all. You may as well just not wasted half your day. You may as well have just stayed inside your business. So here's a couple of questions. How many years have you got experience inside your business? Or is it 1 year replicated many times? Who here sometimes wakes up and says, I'm going to steal this term, Groundhog Day, that just seems to be the same old, same old. You've got to make that change. I'm sticking my hand up in all these things, not just so that some of you can stick your hand up, because it's true. These are challenges that I have to deal with on a day-by-day basis. I'm not telling you I'm perfect, I'm not telling you it's easy. It's hard work. And sometimes I'm a big baby. I don't like to make those changes. True. I know I'm shocking all of you. You think, John embraces change in everything. No. But I have to do the things I have to do. These are some things I want you to think about after today. What are you going to do differently after today to achieve your goals? What do you need to change? And what are the things you need to start doing that you weren't doing before? Okay? Are there any questions? No? Good. Well, what I want you to do is to answer a question for me, but not out loud. I want you to spend the next 2 minutes, 2 or 3 minutes while we get young Ajax ready to get up and regale you with his genius. I would like you to do me a huge favour. Can everyone do me a huge favour? Yeah? I want you to write down 3 things. 3 things that you're going to do as soon as you walk out that door. 3 things that you're going to do to make that change. And those 3 things have to incorporate a couple of components. I want you to say who, and be very specific, is going to do what by when. So what are the 3 things you want to change And then who is going to do what by when to make those changes. Because I promise you, if you make these changes, if you make these improvements in your business, if you follow these really simple principles, you will succeed in 2016. I know it. I've seen it happen time and time again. So quick exercise. 2 minutes, what are the 3 things you're going to do leaving here? Who is going to do what by when to get there?